Let's take a breath together as we also thank Josette again for filling in on the gong, and Gwen on the Gwen Garrett on the song leading this morning. We're thanking everybody. And our sound team, I never get to mention them. Cindy Green is our PowerPoint person, Luis Morales, and Zena, I don't remember your last name, who's also back there with our sound team. Let's give them a hand because they never get recognized. Thank you guys for your service. Thank all of you. So let's take a breath together as we continue to move through this wonderful life. This is our theme for the month. It's a wonderful life, right? It's a wonderful life. How many people are experiencing the wonderful life? Yeah, let's take a breath on that and just really, really, really think about it being a wonderful life. And at this time of year, we think about it, as I've said before, because of that ubiquitous movie that's everywhere around Christmas time. It's a Wonderful Life. And what the subtitle of that movie is, Your Life Matters. Your life matters. Your life matters. And that's what's so important for us to remember as we go through this wonderful life, as we go through the busyness, as we go of the season, as we go through the challenges, as we go through the issues that come up, as we go through the things that are not so great on a day-to-day basis. It's still a wonderful life. And we still have to recognize that and be in that place of opening up to it and allowing it, that wonderful life, to be revealed in and through and as our lives, no matter what's going on. Because it being a wonderful life is not dependent on circumstances. It is dependent on our connection with life itself, on our connection with the all that is, on our connection with that which gives us life, which is our life. And so when we look at it from that standpoint, and when we consider it from that standpoint, then we really can say it's a wonderful life. It's a wonderful life. And so this month, because of the holiday season, we've been talking about gifts because this is the gift-giving season. So we started out with the gift of a day off. Anybody taken a day off yet? We're talking about unplugging. And if you recall, this is the book that we were using, 24/6. This is still in the bookstore, so if you want another gift, you can stop by and pick it up. 24/6, The Power of Unplugging. And what the book has to do with is technology, unplugging from technology at least 24 hours during the week, 1 day a week, unplugging from technology. That's why it's called 24/6, because usually we're on our devices 24/7. And so 24/6 living is what the book is all about. But what it's really deeply about is about unplugging from anything that keeps us focused on anything other than the present moment and the presence of God in that moment. Anything that keeps us out of focus is that from which we need to unplug. And so I really keep recommending this book because it can apply to any area of our lives. So the power of a day off, just taking a day off. And if you can't take a whole day, start out with an hour, start out with 2 hours, because if you don't take an hour, you certainly can't take a day. So we have to start where we are and then begin to take more and more time off from those things that keep us out of focus, keep us out of balance. After the day off, we talked about the gift in willingness, giving up our resistance, giving up our unwillingness, giving up our wanting to do it our own way, giving up all that stuff that would hold us back and moving into that space where we're just open-hearted. And when we're open-hearted, we create a space through which God can work, because God works through an open heart. And so that's what willingness does for us. Willingness gives us an opportunity to operate from our own deep place of withinness. Our own deep place of withinness. That's where we can get to when we're willing, when we're open, when we're available. And so the gift in willingness we talked about. And then last week we talked about the gift in going with the flow. Going with the flow, recognizing that the flow is always downstream. Easy peasy. Downstream. The flow is God itself. The flow is God itself. And so when we recognize, as I said last week, that we're not salmon, and so we don't have to swim upstream, then we can just turn that boat around and just allow ourselves to just go downstream living, just going with the flow, going with God. And so that's a gift that we can give ourselves also. And all of these things work together. You know, all of these things that we talk about work together. It's not just 1 week we do this, and 1 week we do that, and 1 week we do the other. We do them all of the time to the degree that we can. We just remember that all of this go to make up all of who we are. And so today we're talking about the gift in making peace with the past. The gift in making peace with the past. Let's breathe that in. The gift in making peace with the past. We tend to hold on to so much stuff, and particularly this time of year, you know, we hear so much about jolly Christmas and fun and joy and peace and love and light, and everybody doesn't feel that way. Everybody doesn't feel that way. There's some things sometimes that hang us up. There's some things sometimes that really come up in life that don't make us feel so jolly. There's a lot of sadness that happens during this time of year. There's a lot of grief that happens during this time of year. There's a lot of stuff in which our hearts get caught this time of year. And so what we want to do is to just, and most of it has to do with the past, things that have happened in the past. Because, you know, if it's not happening in this moment right now, it's in the past, whatever it is. So if it's not happening right now, it's in the past. And what we want to do is to make peace, learn to make peace with the past. Learn to make peace with that which has gone before. Learn to let go of wanting things to be the way they used to be, wanting things to be the way they ought to be, wanting things to be the way we want them to be, and just being in that place of right here and right now and making our peace with that. Because we have to make peace with where we are right now in order to make peace with the past. Think about it. The world has changed. The world has changed a lot over just the last 2 or 3 years. And the world keeps changing. And we keep holding on to how it used to be, and we just can't wait to get back to the way it used to be. But you know what? We can't get back to the way it used to be. Because when something changes, everything changes. When something changes, everything changes. When something changes, everything changes. And so there is no going back to the way things used to be. There is no going back in the broader world and in our own little worlds. Even if everybody comes right back into place, something has changed. And so when something changes, everything changes. So what we have to look at is moving forward. We have to look at moving forward, because if all players came back into place, everybody's changed. Everything has changed. So we're not gonna return to the way things used to be, whatever that may be. And so when we make peace with that, that's how we make peace with the past. That's how we make peace with wishing that we could go back. That's how we make peace with wishing things were the way they were. That's how we make peace with anything it is that we need to make peace with. And so when you find yourself disturbed, distracted, disappointed, think about what's going on. What is it that you're longing for? What is it that you're angry about? What is it that you're allowing to disturb your peace, that you're allowing to disturb your peace of mind, that you're allowing to disturb your tranquility, which is what peace is all about? Let's take a breath together. Just really think about that. Because when we are in a place where we are disturbed, it doesn't have to be the big things in life. It can be those little things, those little annoyances that all add up. Those little things, something that someone did or someone said, or something that didn't go right, or whatever it may be, however small it may appear to be, if it disturbs your peace, then that's something we want to take a look at and give ourselves the gift of making peace with that. If it disturbs your peace, making peace with the past so that you can let it go. So that you can let it go. And you know, the past includes people, places, and things. People, places, and things. There may be some people, places, and things that we have to make peace with so that we can move forward without them. If there are things, if there are situations, if there are people or whatever that keeps us awake at night, that stays on our mind all the time and just kind of disturbs our our sense of who we are, to the degree that we harp on those in our own minds, then that's the degree to which we're holding on to the past. That's the degree to which we are allowing yesterday's clutter to interfere with today's orderliness. Yesterday's clutter, that's what the past is, yesterday's clutter. No matter what it is, if it's yesterday's, it's clutter. Yesterday's clutter can interfere with our order today. And so when we decide that we're going to just release that and let it go, we can just take a breath and just look at, okay, I'm ready to let this go. I'm ready to not allow those people, that person, those things, those situations to occupy space, rent-free space in my mind. And that's what we're doing when we allow things to disturb our peace. We're allowing them to occupy rent-free space in our minds, in our entire beings. And so I'm inviting you to give yourself the gift of making peace with the past. And we start to make peace with the past when we decide we're ready to move forward. We're ready to move forward. We're ready to put one foot in front of the other and keep moving forward. If we take one step and then another step and then another step, that leads to another step and beyond. And that's how we start to move forward, with one step after one step after one step after one step. We don't play leapfrog over anything. We just take one step after one step after one step. And that's how we begin to move forward. 3 ways I'm going to suggest you do that. Try the grocery shopping approach. You know, if you're going to go grocery shopping, most people, if they're going to go grocery shopping, you take stock of what you have already at home. You start to look through the pantry and look through the refrigerator and start to make a list of all the things that you already have, the things that you need, the things that you're running low on. And so you're just taking stock of what's already here. What do I want? What do I need? How much more do I need? Or do I really need that? So that's the grocery shopping approach for most people, unless you are like some people I know who go to the store and just go up and down every aisle. And I confess, I'm one of those, even if I have a list in my purse. But still, we take stock of what we have, where we are, what we have, what we need. And then as we look at those things, we start to ask the questions, is this really important? Is this really something that I really need? What am I running low on? And so that's the way we start to look at our lives. Where am I right now with regard to that peace and peace of mind that I desire? With regard to me being able to live my life freely and completely and in the flow of life. Where am I with that? What do I need to release? What do I need to not buy any more of? What do I need not to bring any more of into my house? How do I move into the light? This is a season of light. How do I move into that light? How do I become the light? How do I be in the light and of the light? How do I do all that? Because what we start to recognize is that when we are in that place of the past, we're in the darkness. Because the darkness looks like anger, the darkness looks like blame, the darkness looks like grief, the darkness looks like all that stuff that we hold on to. The darkness looks like old stories, the darkness looks like unforgiveness, the darkness looks like wishing that things were the way they used to be. All of those things are the things that keep us in the darkness. And in order to move into the light, we've got to release and let that go. We've got to decide, you know what? What do I really want? What do I really want? Do I want more joy? Do I want more peace? Do I want more harmony? Do I want more balance? Do I want more laughter? Do I want more fun? Do I want more health? Do I want more? All of the good stuff. And when we start to ask those questions and we start to know what we have to do when we go shopping, we'd start to know those kinds of things that we have to allow into our experience. But you see, the thing about it is we don't have to go out looking for it because it's already right where we are. There's not going to ever be any more peace, any more light, any more love, any more joy, any more harmony, any more balance, any more forgiveness than there is right now. Than there is right now. All of these are qualities of God. And God is right where we are right now. God is right where we are always. And all of the gifts of God are available to us always in this moment. And all we need to do is open up. Not looking back, not looking forward, but looking within. Looking within to see where the blockages, where those places and spaces, how can the withinness of me become a place and space for all these qualities to move through, for all these qualities to be revealed, for all these qualities to be experienced by me? And when we recognize, oh, I already have some of this anger over here, oh, I already have too much of this regret. Oh, I already have in the pantry right here, I have some unforgiveness. And up here in the refrigerator, in the freezer, there's some blame. And I got all kinds of stuff that I'm holding on to. I don't need to bring any more of that in. I need to clean out the refrigerator. I need to clean out the pantry. I need to clean out the pantry of my mind, the pantry of my heart, the pantry of my memory, the pantry of old stuff that's filled with old stuff. I need to clear that out so that I create a space for the things that I do want to bring in, that the things that will help me to move forward. And I really believe there's some things in your life that you can think of that you are ready to let go, so that you can create a space for peace. You can make your peace with the past. And you can create a space for oneness, a space for moving into oneness with the all that is, which is what we want to do always. And when we start to move into oneness with the all that is, the more oneness that we experience, the more we become transparencies for God. We become transparencies for God. The more in alignment we are, the more transparent we are, we become transparencies for God to reveal itself in and through and as our very lives. And so everybody who meets us knows that there's something special going on here. And everybody we meet, we know that there's something special going on here because we begin to see through different eyes. And we begin to be fully present, fully grounded right here in the moment, right here in the presence of God. That's what happens when we start to make peace with the past and just let go of those things that don't serve us any longer. So let's take a breath. Let's take a breath. One of the things that we find when we start taking stock as we make that grocery list is that we have more unforgiveness than we thought we had. That we need more forgiveness. We need to bring more forgiveness in. We need to allow more forgiveness in our lives. And so we can't talk of releasing the past without talking about forgiveness. Because that's a huge point. That's a huge releasing tool. That's a huge releasing quality when we allow forgiveness to come through. Forgiving others, allowing ourselves to be open to others' forgiveness, forgiving ourselves for anything that we may be holding on to. Anything that we may have done, anything that we may not have done, anything that we need to release, anything that we need to let go. This is a time of year for us to do that. This is a time of year, just before we start making those resolutions next month, just before we start setting those goals and doing all the stuff that we do at the beginning of the year. Just looking at where we are right here and right now. What am I holding on to? Who am I blaming? Who am I judging? Who am I criticizing? Who am I condemning? What situation am I holding a grudge about? What am I feeling resentful about? How can I open my heart even more? How can I be in that place of forgiveness? How can I be in that place of letting go? How can I be in that place of oneness? Because all of those things that we hold on to, as I said, block the free flow of spirit. It blocks us from that peace and peace of mind that we desire. And so I invite you just to take a breath now. Let's just sit up straight for a moment and just take a breath and just turn within in the moment. And just sort of think about if there's anyone against whom you're holding anything. If there's anyone that you feel maybe holding something against you, or if there's anything that you're holding against yourself, anything that you're holding on to, let's just close our eyes for a minute, and Paul is going to give us a little traveling music, just a little bit. And just take a deep breath as you just turn within. Soft, soft, soft music. And just breathing in and breathing out. And let it come to your mind. Anybody that you feel may have harmed you in any way? Anyone who done you wrong? Anyone that you're holding resentment or blame or judgment? Anyone. Just let them come to your mind. Just breathe in and just breathe out. And just say silently to yourself, for anyone who may have caused me pain, anyone who may have harmed me in any way, knowingly or unknowingly, intentionally or unintentionally, I forgive them. I forgive them. Take a breath. Anyone who may have caused me pain in any way, intentionally, unintentionally, knowingly or unknowingly, I forgive them. I forgive them. I release them. I release their actions. I let it go. And so just take another breath. And now just turn that around a bit. And just say, for anyone who I may have caused pain, who I may have harmed or hurt in some way, whether knowingly or unknowingly, intentionally or unintentionally. For anyone I have hurt or harmed in some way, I ask their forgiveness. I ask them to forgive me. Please forgive me. And then say to yourself, to the degree that I may not be willing to forgive right now, or ready to forgive right now, or able to forgive right now, I forgive myself for that. I forgive myself for my unreadiness, for my unwillingness. And I allow my heart to remain open to the possibility of forgiveness. And so just taking another breath, just think about yourself, your own beingness. And just think, say to yourself, if there's any way that I have harmed myself through my own confusions, anything that I have done to myself, any way that I have been, any way that I've acted, anything that I've thought, whether knowingly, unknowingly, intentionally, or unintentionally, I forgive myself. I forgive myself for the mistakes I have made. I forgive myself for my shortcomings. I forgive myself. Just breathe that in. I release myself from the bondage of unforgiveness. I release myself from the bondage of unforgiveness. I release myself from the past, from those things that I have allowed to hold me back. I forgive myself, just as I forgive others, and accept the forgiveness of others. So just take a moment and just breathe in the energy of forgiveness. Just breathing in and breathing out. Keeping in mind that Martin Luther King said that forgiveness cannot be an occasional act. It must be a permanent attitude. And this feeling that we are experiencing right now of releasing, of letting go, of forgiving, we want this to be a permanent attitude. This is the feeling that this is what the atmosphere of forgiveness feels like. And this is where we want to be, in that atmosphere of forgiveness. And so I invite you to just continue to breathe in and to breathe out normally now, and bring yourself back into this time and this space. Heart remaining open, being remaining open, and just knowing that forgiveness is that to which we can turn over and over and over and over and over again. There's no limit to the amount of forgiveness that we can do. There's no limit to where we can do it, because it's something that happens within our own hearts and within our own minds and within our own beings. And so I invite you back into this time and this space as we develop this practice of making peace with the past, allowing forgiveness to be a part of our practice, a part of our practice, a part of our practice of making peace with the past. So just taking a breath. So we've made that shopping list, and we came up with some things that we can let go, and that's what we do with forgiveness. And the third thing I want you to do as you come back into this space, the next thing that we're going to do is to make the serenity prayer a part of your daily practice. Grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change. Thank you, Paul. The courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Let's say that again. Grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. One thing you cannot change is the past. I don't care how hard you try. Thank you, Paul. I don't care how hard you try. I don't care how much you want to. I don't care how much you wish you could. We cannot change the past. So the serenity to accept the things that we cannot change. That's what forgiveness gives us. It gets us into a place of serenity. I can't change this. I may never know why certain things happened or didn't happen, or why things turned out the way they did. I cannot change the past. I want to move into a place of serenity about that. And then the courage to change those things that I can change. Forgiveness gives us opportunity to do that also, because now we have space, now we have the opening, and the wisdom to know the difference. The wisdom that comes from clarity, the wisdom that comes from our oneness with the all that is. Those are the things that we can do to give ourselves the gift of making peace with the past. And so I invite you to give yourself this gift now, during this season, along with all the other gifts that we've talked about, and along with all the other gifts that you may think about. Give yourself the gift of releasing the past, making peace with the past, getting to the place, and you know you've made peace with it when you get to the place where whatever it was that was disturbing you before becomes a distant memory. It becomes a distant memory. Whatever person that was disturbing you before can now have safe passage through your heart and through your mind. That's when we know that we have made peace with the past, and this is what I'm inviting you to do. Let's turn within in this moment for prayer. Let's take a breath as we do. And so just turning within in this moment, just knowing absolutely that there's but one power, one presence, one mind, one life, one breath, one activity. It's all God. It's all God. It's all God. Everything is God. God is all that there is, the only life, the breath. God is my very life. God is the life of each of us here this day. God is the life and the source of all. And so knowing this truth and knowing my oneness with this all that is, I speak the word for each of us this day. Knowing that we are all open-hearted. We're all released from the past. We're all released from those things that don't serve. We're all released from those things that would hold us back from being in alignment with the all that is. Those things that would hold us back from being all we were created to be. Those things that would hold us back from really experiencing this wonderful life. And to recognizing that our lives matter. Our lives matter in each and every moment of each and every day. And so I speak a word of wholeness for us today. Speaking a word of joy and peace and harmony and balance and wisdom and understanding and acceptance and forgiveness and compassion and perfect health and abundance and prosperity, all of the qualities of God are right where we are right now. And I speak a word of openness for us to just open up to those so that they become a part of our experience, part of our awareness, and we live and move in those. And so I just give great, great thanks for the healing that's happening in each and every life, for the healing that happens for each and every one of us in our body temples and in our bodies of affairs, for the healing that is happening, body, mind, spirit, for each of us. And so as I open this circle of prayer, I pause momentarily so that you may speak the names of those you'd like held in prayer this day. You may speak their names silently or aloud, but you may speak them now. And so for all those whose names were spoken here this day, I know that God is right where each of them is, blessing and keeping them. This prayer goes out to anyone on this planet needing a prayer this day, knowing that God is in the midst of every situation, every circumstance. There's no spot where God is not. For this awareness, for this truth, I give great, great thanks. I know indeed that all is well. I know indeed that all is God. And I just allow it to be. And so it is.